Hello, welcome to Business Law course. This is the second part of finance law topic. At the first part, we have discussed the definition and the concept of the finance law. We also have distinguished the difference between the financing activities conducted by banking institution and non-banking institution. Bank activities mainly is collecting money from the society and linked it or return it back to the society in the form of credit. Meanwhile, financing institution can only do activities in giving fund for a certain party. The difference between these both institutions is from the activities they can do. Bank and non-banking institution can do the financing activities. However, only bank can do activities in collecting money from the society in the form of saving. And in this part, we are going to continue our discussion, and we will talk in a more particular part of finance institution, and the classification we are going to focus on in the second part of finance law is leasing. Based on my experience in Indonesia, most of the people consider every kind of financing activities as leasing. When you want to buy a car and you don't have enough money, well, actually the car is for your personal use, and then you go to a certain financing institution to get fundraise, so you call it leasing. Or when you want to buy a house or an apartment for the deed of your housing, also to get additional money to get the unit. Some people used to treat that kind of financing activities as leasing. So that's the common mistake in Indonesia. From this part, we can find out that actually not every kind of financing activity is leasing. Leasing is specifically talking about activities of leasing something. The word leasing itself comes from the word to lease. The similar terminology of this is to rent. Principally, leasing is to rent something. But what makes it different with the regular renting? Regular renting is only used for your personal need. For example, when you rent a house, let's say for 1 or 2 years, then after the duration of contract of the renting is terminated, so you have to leave the house, and the house is returned back to the owner. In this case, you just need it for a certain time, and no purposes of owning the object after the contract of renting is finished. Meanwhile, when we talk about leasing, it's talking about the financing activities. The financing activities is an activity in giving fundraise or support financially to someone to do what they want to do. So that is the first characteristic of leasing. Not only that, it would be considered as leasing only if that financing activities is aimed to providing capital goods. Capital goods is the goods that used for business. You need something to do your business. You need an equipment to develop your business, but you don't have enough money, so you can go to the financing company to get money, additional fundraise, so you can buy the goods for your business. For example, you need a new machine to support your production. However, the price of the machine is so expensive. You don't have enough budget to buy the machine. The solution you can choose is you can go to the financing company. You're asking for leasing. So when you're asking for this kind of financial support and they agree, this is called leasing. So the leasing activities in providing capital goods could be not only in machine, maybe you want some trucks for the transportation of business, or maybe another kind of equipment to support your business. That's why in Indonesia, leasing, we call it in terminology sewa guna usaha. Sewa guna usaha. So you list it for usaha. What is usaha? Business. So you list something to develop your maybe trading activities or giving services activities, which is a business. But you don't have enough money, so you go to lease. But if you need a car, you need a motorcycle, but that's not for business, only to drop your children to the school or your wife to the market. So the use of these goods is not for business, so it's not sewa guna usaha. But it's another kind of financing activities that we will discuss later. So leasing, first, it's financing activities. The second one, it's to providing capital goods. Capital goods is a goods or an object that you use for business. There are two types of leasing activities. The first one is finance lease. Finance lease is a leasing with an option to buy the object at the end of the period of leasing. It means when the duration of leasing is finished, then the one who gets the fundraise have an option to buy it from the one who gives the fundraise. So at the end, they will do an agreement of purchasing of object. The second type is operating lease. From the name, we can identify that this leasing is only for operation. It means that the using of the capital goods is only to conducting the business. After the duration of the contract of leasing is terminated, then the object will be given back to the owner of the object. From the definition and the classification of leasing, we can identify the parties involved in leasing. The first one, we call it lessor. Lessor is the financing company who gives the support to a certain party in form of fundraise in order to help the party to conduct a business. The second party is lessee. Lessee is the party who needs the fundraise. The third party is the creditor, or in some territories they use terminology of lender or debt holder. The positions of the creditor, lender, and the debt holder is optional. Sometimes the position is the bank. Sometimes the bank play a role as the creditor. The bank can play the role as the creditor only if lessor also has not enough money to buy the object. The further explanation about it you will find in the next part. The fourth part is the supplier. The supplier here is the producer of the capital goods. So if you are a businessman and you need a new robot for your company, so the supplier here is the producer of the robot.